Hello, welcome pen friends. I'm here today with a review of the Jinhao 80 and I am so excited about this pen. It's crazy. I did not expect that I was going to love this pen as much as I do, so I guess I've spoiled it right off the bat. But it was odd because I didn't watch reviews about this pen before I bought it. I just thought, oh my gosh, I mean, it looks just like the Lamy 2000. So I was so intrigued, I didn't even, I just didn't stop to watch the reviews, which I normally do. I always watch Chris Rapp 52s before I buy, a Chinese pen, but one other time I didn't. It was that little Q1 mini or something like that, and that worked out real good. But this was just out of pure curiosity that I got this pen. I actually purchased two of them. They came together for $14.99, so I guess $7.50 each from Amazon. And I gave my pen friend the one with the black clip because she just loves black. So let's look at this pen. And then we're going to do, compare to a few other pens. And I've got a writing sample done, and I'm going to do one on CVS caliber paper with the nib that came on it. And then we'll talk about likes and dislikes. Spoiler alert, there aren't very many dislikes. Okay, so what I did the other day, I was sneaky. I put my Lamy 2000 and this pen in this little case, and I gave it to my husband. And I just handed it to him, and I said, can you tell me which one you think is a $200 pen and which one is an $8 pen? And so he took them, and he didn't even open the pens. He just got them in his hand. And right away, he handed the heavy one to me, the heavier one, and said, this is the expensive one. And he was right. So he was right. The Lamy 2000, which is retail $199 or something like that. I didn't pay that much. What is the expensive pen? And so I was like, okay, you got it. And he said it was because of the weight. He thought right away must be that was it. But he didn't really look at them that closely. So anyway, it's startlingly similar, but it's different materials. It says right on the description of this, they call it ABS plastic. So it's different, but it's that sleek, beautiful office pen, that if you're me, don't want to take. I don't want to take the Lamy 2000 out of my house because it's not the kind of thing that I normally have casually, something that's worth that much. Okay, let's just look at the pen. So it's got the clip that you can just easily operate. Now I did read all the reviews, and one of the reviews said that theirs arrived with a broken clip, so that's something I considered. I read the reviews on Amazon as I was purchasing. That's what I mean. Let's see, in the end actually looks very similar to the Lamy 2000. And then inside you see right away that the nib is a Lamy style nib, like what we see on some of the Wing Sung pens. Or I've seen. And like on the Lamy Safari, so that was intriguing. And then, but you open it up and you've got a cartridge converter pen. See, I know there's so many reviews out there, so I'm going to link you to some of my favorite ones. I started watching them yesterday after I'd inked up and done writing samples and got all excited. I started watching a whole bunch of reviews, and so it was really fun to do that after having purchased it and written with it. It's got the metal threads there and the metal inside. It's a lightweight pen. I took them out and I measured both of them. So I have my little sheet here, and this one measured at 19.3 grams. It's got ink in it, and my Lamy 2000 was measuring on my little device 25.5 grams. So it's a little bit lighter, not by a whole lot, but it's lighter. It feels really neat. It's textured. It feels really nice in the hand. I was like, oh my gosh, how could this be $7.50? Well, I shouldn't say that because last time I started talking that way, a couple of the pens and I'm not saying it was my fault, but a couple of the pens went up in price, so I don't want to see that either. The section is different. The section is still the plastic on this one. So I like the grip better than on the Lamy 2000. I don't slide around quite as much, and it feels a little bit girthier, which, let's see, I wrote down 9.4 to 11.9 millimeters, because it does vary from this part here to here. Okay, so well, let's just set it beside some other pens. I'll start with the Lamy 2000, and I can always tell them apart because this one, the Lamy 2000, has the Lamy printed on the clip, so I don't have to worry about completely losing track. Okay, and then we'll put the Jinhao X159 next to it. No comparison, really. The other ones that I got out were just the Lamy Safari, because you're dealing with the same kind of nib, and but a different grip section. You got that forced grip section. So that's, I mean, this isn't a Safari, this is an All-Star. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, and there we go with that. And then the last time I got this excited about a really inexpensive pen was the Wingsung 3008, where it's a piston filler, and I could interchange and put my Lamy nibs on this. And I found that it was a juicy writer and super easy to tear down compared to the TWSBI Diamond 580. So that's the reason I got this one out. That's the only reason. Because there really isn't much comparison within the pens that are in the price range for this one. I just don't have that many comparisons where I could say that I'm that excited about a pen like this, and with a fine nib. So let's look at what I did already for writing. I went into my ink journal, and I think we may have to change the shot just a little bit, but we'll see. Yeah, I've got it too magnified. Okay, so I went into here. We'll just ignore this page if we can. We'll put the pen here. So I have Diatramentis Alexander Hamilton in this pen, and I've kind of recapped, but it's just so smooth. That's what got to me. This is not the same experience that I had with this Jinhao X159, which I really wanted to love. It's not the same. It's super smooth. I don't mind that it's a fine nib at all. It's just excellent. And actually mine, the way mine writes reminds me of a Lamy fine nib. It may be just slightly finer than a Lamy fine nib, but it's right out of the package. I'm not having any problems at all. So cartridge converter pen, Lamy style nib, approximately $8 each. Oh, and I wrote, if I can put a Lamy Broad nib on this, it will surpass my Lamy 2000, and it will, because I don't think I'm really very comfortable with expensive pens. That's a whole other story, but I think I'm much more comfortable when a pen, you know, is in the $10 or $25 range. Okay, so what happened next after I inked it up and wrote with it is I watched Chris Rap 52's review. And at first in his review, he wasn't able to get the nib off of the first one. Then he got several other colors, and he was able to get some of the nibs, maybe all of them, off and interchange them with Lamy style nibs. So then I started to get really excited. Well, I haven't been able to get mine off yet, but I'm overly cautious. I mean, I've worked with the lobster thing, and I've worked with he was using tape, so I tried tape, but I just couldn't get it off, and I kind of thought about the fact that there was one he couldn't get off either, so I don't want to break the pen. I love it. I love it just as it is. No problem. And that got to me to thinking how I'm constantly complaining about nibs unless they're broad, but it's not really that. It's that I've got to have enough ink flow. And this had enough ink flow. I think, of course, this is a good ink too, the Diatramentis Alexander Hamilton. So there's that. But let's go ahead. I have pulled out a little CVS Caliber notebook, and that's my other go-to notebook. Well, this is my small one. Oh, I stuck an Opus 88 sticker. This is a 5.5 by 4 inch one, a chunky one, that I'm now using to write my daily intermittent fasting experience in, my times of starting and stopping. But I'm going to use a page in it to to write with this because I'm kind of curious myself as to how it'll do. Actually, I know because I've been trying some couple of days with it. So this is November 17, 2022. It automatically seems to write just a little bit. This is like a drier paper. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to explain it. But some of the writing experiences I've had on this paper are bad. This is not bad, but this is not, you can tell the difference between the Tomoe River. This is Tomoe River paper, Alexander Hamilton. So it makes it feels drier. Like over here, it feels super smooth on the Tomoe River paper. Let's see what we get for... Yeah, it's a little bit drier, but not much. But I'm not uncomfortable using this. In fact, I've had it inside the little sleeve, and I've been keeping it with this notebook because I thought, well, I'll use this for a while for my intake. You know, I make my little how many hours I fasted, and then I start my day, like I'll put my coffee and what time I had it, and then I'll do my my start time, which usually 10, and write down what I ate. But this is super smooth, and I did like a little scribble test on my pen review note page right here, and I didn't have any of the issues that I had with the X159. That poor pen. I feel bad because I've heard from a lot of people that theirs is great, and I'm wondering to myself, did I just get a great one? But apparently not, because after watching several reviews, I'm pretty convinced that I wasn't the only one that got a wonderful Jinhao 80. So I wanted to come on because if you haven't seen the other reviews, or you haven't... Now see, that is actually an advantage in a way, that it's drier on this paper, because I probably won't have smearing when I'm writing in the morning on my, or you know, during my eating window. But it just kind of amazes me how smooth that nib is. It's just quite amazing. So on this paper, this feels more like my extra fine Lamy, which is very, very close to the fine Lamy nib. But over here, I definitely would compare this nib to a Lamy fine nib. Straight up. Okay, so just nice and smooth, and yes, it's very fine of a nib, but I don't mind it at all. And I will be really excited if I can get one of these where I can get the nib off. And, you know, maybe this nib will come off eventually. I just don't want to break it. But it's really exciting when you can do that. I do that all the time with these, with the Wingsung 3008s. I have a stub nib on it right now. And it's just fantastic. Just really, really, really nice. Oh, Coco, you like it too? Okay. Okay. All right, so what's left here is I wanted to just talk about what I like and don't like. I probably already mentioned everything. But at least I could... Oh, well, right here on my little, there's nothing secret here, so I might as well just put this in the frame. I wrote down all the different colors I was seeing, so that's a plus there, and I think that is on my list. Yeah, colors, many colors. So I saw black with a gold clip, black with a silver clip, that's the one that I have, brown with a gold clip, red wine with a gold clip, red with a gold clip, ivory white with a gold one, gray with a silver clip. Now that was pretty. I love gray. Denim blue with a gold clip, dark green with a gold clip, black with a black clip. That's the one I sent to my pen friend. And then avocado green with a gold clip. And there may be more, but I was only looking at fine nib ones. I didn't want extra fine. You don't like extra fine either, Coco? That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so let me see if I can get this where you can read it too. That'd be kind of neat. So I put, what I like is the nib is so smooth and it has even ink flow. And that's what I wasn't quite getting yet with the X159. You know, and I want that so much for that pen, but I'm not there yet. Yeah, we got to work on it. It's a beautiful pen. I love it. I love the feel of it. I mean, it has that similar feel to the Lamy 2000 that's so much more expensive. It's not as heavy, but that doesn't bother me at all. Then it has the easier to maintain cartridge converter, which kind of is nice. You know, I mean, I know that I'm not going to have anything real mysterious going on in there, because if I do, I could just change the converter. And there's nothing wrong with a piston filler, that's for sure, but it could someday require a little more work. The price is excellent. There are many colors. And some people have been able to get their nib off. Okay, so, yeah, more than one person that I saw. Okay, well, these are conclusions. So the only thing I wrote over here and don't like is that I can't get my nib off this pen. But that's not a serious complaint, because the pen is great the way it is. I love it. Just a minute, Coco. It's okay. It's okay. We have a little small heater that we're heating over here in this part of the house, and I guess he just wants to go to the cold side. I don't know why. The other thing I might put on there don't like is just silly, but there's just such a temptation, you know, to buy every color. And I mean, that's a real thing for me, but it's silly too to say that. But it is kind of a temptation, because you know, you get one, you love it like this, and then you're like, okay, I need to have 6 more. But we won't do that. Okay, so I put under conclusions who might like this pen. People who like fine nibs, in terms of, now you may have better luck and be able to get this off, and you know, do all kinds of neat stuff with stub nibs and so on. But you might be like me, and I've so far have not been able to get it off. Budget conscious writers and students. That was just my idea anyway, and me, because I really like this, and it was just as far of a positive as I've had recently with the other pen that I didn't like how it wrote, and I wanted to so much. I've actually worked on this nib some, but I haven't used micro mesh, because looking at it, it just doesn't look like it needs it. It still feels as if the tines are just too close together, and I don't want to break the nib. I really don't. It would be the end of the pen if I did, because it has a number 8 nib. So this one, it just blew me away. I was expecting and hoping that I'd be able to write with it and probably have to smooth the nib or something. But I thought it was such a curiosity that a pen would look exactly, just almost exactly like a Lamy 2000. I had to have one anyway, and I thought it'd be fun for my pen friend to have one too. So that is my review. I'm going to direct you towards some reviews that are just, to me, like, you know, I don't consider myself like a professional reviewer, whereas I do some of these other folks that are just really, really knowledgeable. And but I like to bring my enthusiasm or my excitement about pens to you in case you haven't heard of one, and just from a perspective too of really being on a budget. And so I think we act differently, or we feel differently sometimes about pens. It's a shame that I even ever bought gold nib pens, I guess, because I don't, well, I have only 3, I think. 3? Pretty sure. Because I have this discomfort about taking any expensive pen outside the house. And I was thinking about that with jury duty. I thought, well, I don't mind taking this to jury duty tomorrow inside this little thing, and I'll just decide what's going to be right next to it. The little notebook I picked for that is a thinner version of this one, so that in case I have to take notes, you know, but I would never, ever take my Lamy 2000 to jury duty, you know, so it's kind of more fun when I have that, you know, where I don't mind taking a pen anywhere with me. And I know I'm strange. Okay, so that is my review, and I hope that it was helpful to you if you either didn't have this pen on your radar at all, or if you were kind of curious about what someone like me thinks of it. I mean, I don't know. All I know is I really like it, and darn those people for making so many pretty colors in it, in it and everything. Okay, I'm going to leave while we're ahead, and I'll see you in the comments, and maybe I can learn even more. Maybe someone who's gotten a stubborn nib off of theirs can tell me more. I see I've got tape on the nib because I tried really hard to get it off, thinking that I'd go ahead and put a Lamy Broad nib on it. I'm not going to give up on that, but I'm not going to cry if it doesn't come off because it's a great writer. I will see you on the next video, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.